right, so let's talk about some of the losers. We've got to start with Will Levis, of course, out of Kentucky. I mentioned to you that I heard that Will Levis might fall a little bit, and I heard there were some concerns that it might be close whether he goes in round one. I think in my last mock draft, I had him going 21st, like towards the bottom of the first round. I had a team trade up for him. The Titans I had come back into round one to get him. The Titans went with Peter Skoronski in real life, and once he got past 19, where the Buccaneers were picking, and the Buccaneers took Elijah Cansey, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And they did, which is quick aside. You said that it makes sense for Cansey to go somewhere where there's someone big next to him. Vita Vea fits that description, so that
Yes.
makes sense, right?
Yes. And we talked about him compared to like if the New York Jets had went with him with Quinnen Williams.
Right.
But you got the big nose tackle at Tampa Bay. Now you got
Vita
an
Vea, yep.
interior pass rusher. Yeah.
All right, so Will Levis. So he didn't go at 19. He didn't go at all. I sort of wish that cameras would quit showing him when they get to that point in the process, but that's drama, I guess. I felt bad for the young man. And, it's going to be a long night for him, I would imagine. And I just say this. Geno Smith was angry when he didn't get drafted in the first round in 2013. He left Radio City Music Hall. He did not come back. And he eventually found his way to where he is now. So there is a silver lining to this, but it's hard to take away from anything other than there's a lot of conversation about him going top 10 and then top 5 and then maybe somewhere in the first round.
Some of us, our colleagues, thought he'd be the first overall pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, that's Pete Prisco. We can name names. Is this more and Pete will tell you he's talked to folks in the league who thought Will Levis was QB1. But is this more a media creation like last year with the quarterbacks, or is this a situation where just no one knows what's going to happen, and a lot of times teams don't know what other teams are doing?
No, it's as much preparation as you put into this, and all the hours and hours of meetings and psychological testing and analytics and everything that goes in to try to make a decision. I know I counted one year, we had 85 people that were involved in our process. So you're gathering all that information and trying to come up and decipher what is good, what is bad, to come up for the best decision for your organization. Now, I don't know why Will Levis, because I do believe he is a first-round draft pick. Usually, though, and I was surprised because if you want to go get a quarterback, I thought maybe someone would trade up late in the first round to get that fifth-year option. But no one did. So he's probably going to go very early in the second round. There's going to be a lot of quarterback needy teams in that top 10. And you can see a lot of jockeying for position tomorrow. And that's why Friday, when you have that first pick on Friday and you have that first pick on Saturday, those are invaluable. And, when you look, Debo just put up the sign, which team needs a quarterback? Pittsburgh, no. Arizona, no. Maybe Detroit, Indianapolis, no, the Rams. And some of the comparisons out there were, is he Matthew Stafford?
Right.
So that may be the first true threat if you want to go get Levis, that you better jump up in front of the Rams if you're trying to anticipate what the Rams are thinking. Seattle, right after that.
Well, let me ask you about Seattle. So Seattle's situation feels differently now based on their first two picks when they didn't get Anthony Richardson, if that's who they were targeting. And unlike Anthony Richardson, it's unclear if Will Levis needs to sit for 2 years behind Geno Smith. So that feels a little less like a good fit, or am I off on that?
Well, unless they think, maybe how long is Jordan Love sat? How long did Aaron Rodgers sit? So who knows what teams are thinking. So, but if they do decide to go that route, I guess it's going to be depending on the board. But the one thing I'll say about Seattle and trying to read the tea leaves is that no one gave them a chance last year after they traded Russell Wilson as we were going through this process. And the job that Pete Carroll and John Schneider did, they knocked the draft out of the park. And all of a sudden, they're in the playoffs. Now, they may have the mindset of, we have Geno Smith. We can wait a year or two if we want to go get a quarterback. But we just knocked it out of the park in the first round again tonight. So that's going to make our team even better than it was a year ago. But look at the young core that they're building. You got 2 shutdown corners now,
Oh boy.
and
Yep.
so they're. It'll be interesting in the NFC West how that power or that shift happens, where Seattle may be the league dog out there right now.
All right, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Detroit, Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, Las Vegas Raiders, all are going to pick pretty early on day 2 as we sit here. Would you rather have Hendon Hooker than Will Levis? And which team is going to take the quarterback first?
I'm going to guess the hot spot will probably be the Rams.
All right.
I don't know if Detroit will go quarterback this early, especially with all the talent that is still on that board. That'll yet to be determined, but it will be interesting to see if someone trades up, and I wouldn't be surprised. Now, this would be shock a lot of people, but I've kind of been a Hendon Hooker fan since we were able to sit down with him at the combine, and you go back and you reevaluate the type of kid he is. That you know what, we can do another dollar bet, Debo.
Oh gosh,
I will go out on a limb since he's down and he's probably going to lose. That Hendon Hooker goes before Will Levis. Let's put that bet on there.
You won't even call me by name when I'm losing so bad. You said him.
Yeah, him.
Is that already a bet, Debo? Do we have some Hendon Hooker bet, or was that he would go in round 1?
You actually took that Hendon Hooker would be quarterback 4 off the board. So
you're trying to take my bet.
Okay. Well, we'll reset it. So you're saying that he will go before Will Levis tomorrow?
I think that's what Debo. I think that's what we agreed to recently.
That's agreed to. I mean, Ryan, if you're trying to make a comeback, I'll allow it. I put some rules in place for the $1 bets, but I'll allow a switch at this point.
No, I need that. I'm going to win that one. I feel better about Hendon, I think,
than Will Levis.
Yeah, I got a feeling.
Okay, we'll keep it, Debo. And I didn't get the rules. No,
he's trying to help you get back in it.
Yeah, he's just trying to help you get back in it. But the biggest dollar that I will win is getting from LaGuardia to Stamford, Connecticut in less than an hour once I land. But the clock does not start until I actually get in a rent-a-car.
That's fine. No, that's right. You got to get in the rent-a-car. People here are mixed. They're mixed down the middle, split down the middle on whether you'll be able to do it or not. Some people think it's, and they live in the greater New York City area. They think you might. So we'll see. You're on a hot streak here. You're 6-3, so you're doing
this
something
guy's
right.
Got to look at an actual paper map while he's driving. There's no chance he makes it.
TripTix. Remember TripTix?
Yeah, no, I don't. But I do remember buying a road atlas, and I was very disappointed when I rent a car that they don't hand out the paper maps anymore. So
a TripTix is when you go through AAA, and they would actually map out the actual route for you, and you would just flip through the map, so you didn't have to open up the big thing while driving, like your Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation or something.
Why were you guys laughing at me when I send you that snapshot of how long it takes to get from LaGuardia to Stamford, the studios in Stamford, Connecticut?
It's going to be close. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, the worst part is you might get here in 45 minutes. Getting from the front gate to finding the parking spot into the building, that's where you're going to lose about 20 minutes because it's a little tricky.
Once I touch the gate, I'm in.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that part.